Hi, I'm Candie from CandieCooper.com, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can add a clasp to your jewelry projects. Okay, so there are a lot of different ways to add a clasp. You can add one to a chain with jump rings, but I think like the most common and maybe mysterious way is through crimping. So that's what I'm going to show you today. That's how I did these bracelets on these strung beaded bracelets. I just crimped the clasp in place. So first, let's take a look at some different kinds of closures. So when you go to the craft store or online or whatever, you're going to find clasp in all different forms. These are really fun. They're magnetic, so like really easy to snap on your wrist or whatever. Toggle clasps. These come in all different shapes too. Look at this cool dragonfly. Here's a really basic toggle clasp. You might see them in the craft store in just like a little variety pack, all different colors. This is a box clasp. You push one end down and then it snaps out. Really beautiful. These are from Stars Clasp. These are Beadalon, some from Jesse James Beads. Everybody has clasp. And the kind that you pick just kind of goes with your jewelry design. You want to just pick something that looks good with your overall piece. So let me put these aside. No matter what clasp you pick, you're going to secure it to your beading wire. I've got a piece that I started here with crimped beads or tubes. I'm using number 2s, and the reason for that is because the wire that I'm using says that's what size crimp tube I need. See, here's a little picture of a crimp tube, and it says number 2 next to it. So that's how you know what size crimp tube to use with your wire. That's really important because if you use a crimp tube that's too big for your wire, it's going to slide. When you're wearing your bracelet, it's going to wiggle, and then you're going to have beads all over the floor. So pay attention to those little numbers. All right, so I went ahead and pre-strung my bracelet. Let's add a clasp already. And I made this cute little link. I'm just using a little lobster claw clasp with this decorative link. So it's gonna work like this when it comes around, hooks to that jump ring. So the first thing I'm gonna do is string a crimp tube onto my beading wire. Normally I would leave my wire connected to the spool so that I didn't waste so much, but I was prepping all of these and I wanted to have this ready to roll. So next I'm going to string one end of my clasp, and then you're going to thread the tail of wire back through the crimp tube, slide that crimp tube up next to your clasp, and then sometimes it wants to be finicky and pop back down, but you've got that all in place, and you're going to leave it just so that that loop, your clasp moves freely like that. You don't want it so tight on there like this that it doesn't move, because then it's going to hang awkwardly around your wrist. But I want to show you in jumbo size what we're doing first, because sometimes when we're using these teeny tiny pliers, it's hard to see. So, ta-da! I brought a giant strand of strung beads here, and let's pretend this is one end of our clasp, and I've gone ahead and put my crimp tube on. So what happens is you thread this back through your crimp tube, slide it up next to your finding your jump ring or whatever clasp, and then what we're going to do is when you look at your crimping pliers at the very tip, you see 2 openings. The one closest to the handle is a U shape. The one furthest away looks like an I shape. We're going to put it into the U shape first. So when we press it down, we're going to try to keep those wires separated, and we're going to press it into the U shape just like so that we keep the wires separated. It's not the end of the world if the wires get on one side, but in a perfect crimping world, that's what we want it to look like. And then what's going to happen is you're going to flip it 90 degrees like so, and then you're going to put it in the I shape, and we're going to just roll that sucker on over, okay? Piece of cake, no big deal. And then we're going to slide everything down and repeat for the opposite side. So let's do it for real now. I know sometimes this stuff gets tiny, and sometimes it's easier to see it in jumbo version. So let me take that off. That's a little bead stopper, by the way. That holds your beads on there when you're when you're working and you have to stop in the middle. Okay, so we've got our crimp in place. Let's put it in the U shape. It kind of looks like a piece of macaroni. Maybe I'm just getting hungry, I don't know. But let's keep those wires separated and double check that you got enough room, and then just squeeze down on your pliers. Then you're going to turn it 90 degrees and roll it on over. Remember how we just flattened that crimp tube together to fold it. And then you can put it in the tips of the pliers and give it one smush. Then trim that extra wire away, leave just a tiny tail, just like so. And then slide everything down. Tuck those tails into the first bead, and then string one end of your decorative link piece. Put the tail of wire back through the first crimp tube and the first bead, just to kind of finish that end. And then remove all the slack, and you got to be really careful. You don't want to choke everything out. Don't like yank or anything. Just like once you get it where you think it should go, like kind of wiggle it like this and check to make sure it's nice and flexible. Then we're going to grab our crimping pliers and get everything ready. Looks good. And then you're going to crimp again. So put it into the U shape. Nice and easy. Turn it 90 degrees and then roll it on over. Voila. Now, sometimes you can leave it just like that, but sometimes I get questions online like, what are crimp covers? And these are just simply these cute little Pac-Man type shape beads. I'm going to hold them with my pliers here. And they have like an opening. They look like little chomper beads. And what those do is you can slide them over your crimp tube and then just close it like so. And sometimes you need to press over the seam a little bit. And then that gives you like a little decorative end and makes your piece just look that much more fluid. So really easy how to add a clasp with crimp tubes. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Be sure to drop us a line in the comments and let us know what you thought, and give us a thumbs up if you liked it. And definitely subscribe to this channel. Until next time.